Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Opie-Verse. I am your host, as always, the one, the only Opie-1. To say I'm excited for tonight is an understatement for sure, but you know what? It's let's like that's just me. Let's judge this one on the way out, but tonight is going to go off. In the meantime, though, you know the drill. I'm just going to take you through a little bit of housekeeping, just so you know the rules. Essentially rule number one is we have no rules, and with that, this stream comes with a slight adult content warning. In that, we may drop some bombs here, there. You certainly won't hear tonight the voice of Mr. Matt Mellish in the background saying it's G-rated content. That is not here. So with that, as I say, we will not make a conscious effort to drop bombs, but at the same time, they may be necessary from time to time. So there's a little warning for you. I can't say that will be any public nudity, but I also can't promise there won't be. But what I can assure you is both myself and my guests tonight will be enjoying ourselves with a slight alcoholic beverage. For me tonight, I've gone for a margarita. It's like 9 o'clock at night. Why the devil not? But hey, that's how we roll in the Opie-Verse, right? Look, I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I know why you're here. I know why I'm here. Let's crack on with the stream. Let's get our guest out tonight. You may know him as Zane. You may know him as Block Studios. You may know him as one of the 4 pillars of the Stud Buds. Whatever you know of him as, here he is.
Hello!
My boy. How's it going, mate?
It's going. It is a day and a half here on the lovely Sunday.
What a beautiful sound that is. I've got a question for you for the millions watching around the world. What we drinking, buddy?
We be drinking some Coors Light here in America.
I do like Coors Light. I think it's my favorite of the American beers we get over here. I think it's better than Bud Light.
At least it has some taste. Bud Light tastes like water to me.
Yeah, water washed through rocks or something to have like a bit of a minerally taste.
Yeah, definitely. I like a bit of a harder beer too. There's some stuff that are like 805 brewing. It's kind of like a blonde. I don't know if you guys have really care about blondes or IPAs or stuff like that.
I'm not a big IPA lover. I do like a blonde though.
IPA is a bit thick for me. It's a bit much on the beer. But
it's a bit floral for me. It's just got like a bit of a florally aftertaste. Each to their own. They are very popular here in the UK, but it's not for me. It's not for me. But how has your day been? How has your weekend been?
Good. I went and took Christmas pictures this morning so I have a drone business I do on the side.
Yeah.
And this company that I always do the drone work for invited me to come, well, A, take the picture for them with my drone, and B, wear a Christmas sweater. And then I got back and we started Stud Buds. And I've just kind of been wearing it. So here we go.
Nice.
That was today.
So it looks like, is it Star Wars only or is it Rebel? Because I'm seeing a lot of Rebel.
It's kind of everything. There's an AT-AT.
Is that a Jabba the Hutt? Nice. I
think there's a Jabba the Hutt in here. There's a BB-8, Darth Vader, Death Star, Vader, Yoda. Kind of everything. A little bit of everything in there.
Nice. Where is my jump? I know. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know, James. I have my Christmas jumper picked out, but I haven't ordered it, and I need to order it, and it is a Star Wars one, so I best get on that. How was Stud Buds?
Stud Buds was fun. We talked a lot about modulars and stuff like that. I'm not really a big modular fan anyways, so it's kind of hard for me to really do the modular. They call it Thunderdome, where we all present, like we spin a wheel one week, the next week we present our idea, and then the third week everyone's been voting in the Discord, and we pick a winner of whoever presented. So like there's everyone gets to either pick like a CMF line or a modular, or there's 6 options on the spin wheel, and we landed on modular. And it was hard, honestly, because I'm not big into the modulars. Like I like spaceships and vehicles and stuff like that. I'm now like Jabba's palace, like it's a building, but it's not a modular building. So that was a little hard, but it was a good show.
Do you know who is into modulars and has a? Because I know that there's a lot of talk about the most, and I'm the same, right? Like modulars is not my thing. I'm more driven by the themes and the franchises rather than Lego itself. But the Lego purists love their modulars. And then there's been this new modular release. I don't know if it's fully released or if it's a rumor. I don't know kind of where they're in with that, but it's definitely there. But a person who has a strong opinion on it is Cy O'Connor, and I know
Cy O'Connor. Sorry. Continue. Sorry.
No, go on.
Cy. This sounds horrible, but I think about Cy almost on a daily because he loves shit. He loves like he has a toilet that shoots little poo discs, and I love that. It cracks me up. And they don't have a Lego store in Ireland. And I know you saw the video, and the Justice for Ireland part might be a little much, but the movement for a Lego store in Ireland, I'm pushing that.
It needs to happen. I was shocked when I found that out. I found out a while ago. I've got quite a few Irish followers on TikTok, and they quite often see it. Like when I'll do my going to the Lego store vlog, I'll always get the kind of sad comments where people are like, we don't have one here, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like but yeah, it's crazy. By the way, it's Spawn. Go to bed.
Spawn.
It's like past 10 o'clock. He's just been on my TikTok live, and he's like, I need to go to bed. So I didn't know if he said that, but thank you for dropping in, man. But yeah, on the modular stuff I was on. So I know you had Greg on Studbuds a couple of weeks ago as well, our London Bridge Bricks. So he does a Friday evening stream called London Calling. I was fortunate enough to join that on Friday evening. And Cy was on there with us, and Cy went off about the trees on the new modular. So he's very passionate about it. So
that's good. That nice palm tree.
Well, I think that's exactly it. What he's saying is that it shouldn't be a palm tree. It should just be a tree. It's not a 5-star hotel. I know more about this modular from that kind of couple of minutes with Cy than anything else. You did have a rant. But yes.
Oh, I love the TikTok. It's good.
But hey, Joe. Hey, everyone. I'll try Yo Imperial Breaks. Hey, Oliver, thank you for dropping in, everyone.
Everyone.
It's good to see you all. But yeah, man, we were just seeing kind of before we got started. We speak so often, probably in each other's lives, but one of us tends to be on the keyboard and the other one is behind the camera. We spoke once that I know of. I remember when they very first opened that like the guest feature, which probably must have been around May time, maybe. It was a long time ago. So it's cool to get you on. Everybody always kind of references the two of us as being kind of two peas in a pod.
Yeah, which I
totally agree with, because one, we are very much both Lego Star Wars guys more than anything else. With both of our hats, you've got a little bit more underneath your hat than I have.
Just a little more.
You've got the beard. We've both got the beard. We're both in motorbikes. We both love eating. So yeah, man. But quick question. I know I just asked, but I'm just going to come back to it. Lego double VIP points. I know you don't play. You're not strategic with your double VIP points because you bought your Republic gunship on in the middle of a couple of days before double VIP points. But it is double VIP points this weekend. Have you bought anything?
I have not bought anything this weekend. I probably won't be since today's the last day. But yeah, I should be more strategic, but I honestly forget about double VIP points. Like, I'm more infatuated with the set that I want to buy, and I have horrible patience. I hate waiting for things. So if it's available, like, I try to buy it as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, you should wait till double VIP points. And I'm like, I already bought it. You should have called me sooner. And yeah. So I wish I would have bought it that way.
It's not like you stream weekly with a Lego store employee, is it?
No, it's not like that, right? Someone who's very modest about their employment at the Lego store.
No comment.
No comment.
To be fair, I mean, he other than Studbuds, he has, and we are, of course, talking about Isaac or Brad. And if you're watching Brad, whether live or watching back, we will have you on very soon, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a shame because obviously it's such an amazing experience for him, and I know it was a dream for him, but it has kind of pushed him into the shadows a little bit because he has to be so careful about what he does. And I suppose, you know, those sacrifices for our dreams kind of make sense. But yeah, I miss Brad.
Yeah, I agree. He really has taken a step back, and he's really had to be mindful of the things that he says. On our show, we can't talk about leaks. We can't talk about stuff like that because, you know, in his contract and his, you know, working agreement, he cannot talk about things like that have been released. So it makes things more challenging. I wouldn't say difficult because, you know, you just don't talk about it. But the challenging part is you want to talk about it. You want to be like, dude, did you hear that this has come out? Did you hear about the lightsaber with the AT-AT? Did you? Well, we can't really talk too much about it. We have to. If it comes up in conversation, we have to say in theory and try to play it off that way. You know,
I think you can play it off as a rumor and like and for him it's just not worth it, is it? Because if the wrong person takes it the wrong way, it's so subjective. It's not worth it. But yeah, Brad, we miss you, but we still acknowledge you.
Exactly.
But yeah. So no Lego purchases for Zane this weekend.
Nope, sorry guys. I built the Republic gunship. I did that this week.
Nice.
Didn't buy anything,
you haven't built your AT-AT yet though, because you have got that, haven't you?
I don't know, maybe.
I thought I saw that. I thought I saw a video of you getting one.
We'll spill the beans for those of you who are watching. Obviously, I do have it. My mother was kind enough to buy it with the rest of my family. My family, they all pitched in, but my mother's the one who fronted the money to pay $800 for this set because it's iconic. It's just like the Falcon for me. It's huge. It's very important. And day one was a big deal. But they made me wrap it and put it under the Christmas tree. So I'm trying to play it off like, no, I don't have it yet. Stay till Christmas. We'll see what happens on Christmas.
You must have some big ass Christmas tree.
We have a 9.5 foot tall Christmas tree.
Sweet. Nice. Good night, Spawn.
Huge. Yeah. Good night, Spawn.
Sit tight.
Oh look, we've got the almost like the third one of us. We've got Jamie.
Brethren.
I made a purchase today.
Oh.
If you take your right hand, make a pointing finger, and then point it over your left shoulder, a bit further out, that's what I bought.
You bought that one today?
I bought that one today.
You bought the Falcon. Attaboy. Look, are you excited?
So, yeah. So I've been kind of making plans to buy it for a little while. And then obviously it's double VIP points, which I wasn't expecting. That kind of crept up on us. But I found out this week that it is actually starting to be retired.
Yeah.
So I think Germany, I've seen and heard that it has been retired. So I thought, like, shit, like I can't lose out. So I purchased it. It's on back order, so I'll get it probably mid to end of January, but that's cool.
At least you ordered it though. At least it's coming that way, not secondhand for double the cost.
Yeah. But I was tempted with the AT-AT because I really like the Luke's lightsaber. So I was going to get that and thought, like, Luke's lightsaber, double points, it's a no-brainer. But I called the Lego store this morning and they were saying they had some in stock, but they've been told by Lego not to give them out. But I was on somebody's stream on Friday who got one in the other Lego store, like, which is about 100 miles from me. And I was like, I'm not going there. So it made the decision for me. I got the Falcon. So, and then I hope to have all three of the super duper UCS by May. So yeah, man.
Hey, dude, you got this. I believe in you.
It's space is everything, but yeah, but it's that thing because right now I want those three, and then want the Republic gunship next year. I'll pick up Luke's Landspeeder when that comes out in May.
I was thinking about that. I actually think I would want the Luke's Landspeeder.
I know it's very iconic.
It is, right? It gets a lot of trash because it literally gets put out just as much as the X-Wing. Like, it's out all the time. But it is an iconic ship. Like, it's one of the first things you see in the Star Wars world, you know? It's a big deal. So I would expect it, you know?
100% agree. So, and, you know, if they just leave it alone for, like, 3 years after that, cool. Like, stop making it. But they probably won't. We'll probably have, like, 3 Luke's Landspeeders out at any given time. So, hey, Rolo, I think that's hey Sharks, how's it going? Aiden is in the house, and yes, thank you indeed.
I'm excited for you.
I am too, in that, because right, in the UK it feels like we're heading back into lockdown, even though like 90% of everybody is at their 2 jobs. This whole Omicron thing is killing us, but in January nobody really cares because there's nothing to do in January anyway, right? Like everybody's skint from Christmas. Everybody's like just wanting to keep their head down. So it provides a great opportunity to just kind of keep my head down, build some stuff, and make some content on it. True. So yeah, looking at that. But good point, Jamie, on this one. But here's a good start, because you and I'm kind of somewhat indifferent, certainly more indifferent than I was on Like Kids, but I think they work really well on some sets, and I think those sets they work well on are brilliant. But I think at the same time, those that they don't work on, they really ruin it. But which ones do you like, and are there any that you don't like?
That's actually a really good point, though, Opie, because whenever I get my monthly one from Game of Bricks, like a monthly couple and stuff like that, I strategically think about how am I going to use these? Are these going to be permanently displayed, or are these going to be things that I might like open up or use or look at sometimes to try to make content with, because it does have a big factor, like the Mos Eisley Cantina, for example. I love the light kit in that because it's got sounds, it lights up the bar. I mean, that's kind of a stationary set anyways. I'm not opening it and closing it, just like the Star Destroyer. It stays there. It's very stationary. And I love the light kits for that. But I have a light kit for the Bad Batch shuttle that I was putting in the other day. And the Bad Batch shuttle is already kind of flimsy as it is. And it makes it a little bit more flimsy. So for play sets that you're going to use and play around with, I don't recommend getting a light kit for those specific sets. It should be set determined, not just because you want a light kit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's wholly agree with that. So I have one for I think you have the same one for the Razor Crest, which is just out of shot. But if my Razor Crest was not on the display stand that it's on, I wouldn't want it. But because it's on the display stand, it's only going to sit there. And it's exactly the point that you've just made about the Bad Batch shuttle. Is anything that you're picking up and moving around, it does massively affect the integrity.
Exactly. I agree.
But yeah, it's I do love Jamie, and Rolo said it first, but the Friends Central Perk set definitely turned Central Perk into a rave with those strobe lights.
Oh, did it really? I never saw it with a light kit, but it's just like there's raven lights all over the place.
Just they're like in the middle, and I'm trying to picture what they're trying to replicate from Central Perk. And I feel like there is a bit of an interchange in light that's on the window, but this thing just because it just dominates the set, it's quite funny. But yeah.
Well, my favorite, honestly, would have to be the Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyer is probably my favorite light kit that I have. Star Destroyer and the Daily Bugle, actually, just because the sounds that come with it are so iconic, and the light, like it's got lights that run down the side of it that they're not accurate. But it is a light that I'm happy to see. It catches your eye. It grabs you looking at it. The sounds, the Tantive lights up with it. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I like those.
And it's not like you're picking it up, right? It's like you are. No. It's sitting there, and I love the blue engines on it. I like I do like the Falcon as well, but there is that Falcon thing where it has the indicator lights on or the hazard lights on it. And it's just it. Once I saw that, I could never unsee it. And I'm like,
I need to get a better one for it, honestly. The one that I have is good, but it's actually from a different company. It was the first light kit I ever got, and I felt bad picking like the most expensive light kit, so I got like a step down. But the one that I want actually lights up these vents on the back, and the lights on the front just stay on. They don't blink. So it's not hazard lights as bad, I guess,
Yeah.
So
no, it's are they different? Are they much different? Because I know when we started on this kind of journey, like 18 months ago or however long that would be, it seems like there's a lot more light kit companies now. But I do get the feeling, certainly with the likes of Game of Bricks and Leli Go, they're essentially the same. Like they're not the same company, but they're shipping from the same place, and they just stick a different badge on it.
Yeah. I've noticed that.
I feel like that's the case, but obviously, unless you ordered the same kit, So from two different places, you wouldn't know for sure, but they do look very similar.
I've got a light kit from Lilac Go, but I feel like Lilac Go and Game of Bricks, like you're right, they use the same manufacturer, just slightly different packaging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that again with that, because when I first started doing the sponsorship type of thing or affiliate program, whatever you call it, with Game of Bricks, I didn't even think about not doing it with anybody else. So Lilac Go came to me and asked me to do one, so I did it, and Game of Bricks actually got upset. So I didn't know really how they knew, unless they like genuinely follow me, which come to find out they do. Like when I do the questions on Instagram, Game of Bricks is answering those questions. So they actually got upset with me because they sent me 3 light kits a month, and I put in my request for the 3 for that month, and they're like, well, since you're doing other sponsorships and deals, we're only going to send you 1. And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, did you want to make this exclusive? And they're like, well, that's up to you.
That'll cost you 5.
You listen here. That's 25% profits and 5 a month. I didn't actually say that, but I did go back and forth with them and made it exclusive with Game of Bricks. But yeah, there's not much of a difference. The only one that was different to me, what was it? There was one, the very first one that's for this one. I don't remember what kind it is. But all the lights, they don't go to those little tiny plugs. They go to actually a full USB. So you put the lights all the way in, and it's got a USB that hangs out the bottom. You do the next set of lights, and it's got another USB, and then it's got a 5-to-1 USB.
Yeah.
Which was way easy, way simple, probably the best installation ever. But the quality wasn't there to equal the installation process. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's got a bunch of USBs, but you don't have sounds. You can't adjust the lights. You can't change anything. So.
Oh, yeah, well, it's good to know. And obviously, if you're there as a informative person, you can talk about these other things. So very interesting. Taking us back on that journey, though, and thinking about like and this is probably true for a lot of us, but our Lego journey is probably started off separately to our like TikTok social media journey, right? So how do those two get started for you? And then how did they come together, and when did they come together? Because I always remember you having like 100,000 followers plus. But like how and when did they materialize?
Honestly, so I built Lego as a kid. I have the bins that I had as a kid still. My dad kept them and stuff like that. But after 2004, I think, because I built the 2004 Mos Eisley Cantina. That was like my first set that I remember, honestly.
Is that the arm-printed Greedo one?
I think it is, because it's the one that everyone freaks out about, Greedo.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't have Greedo. I wish I did, but I don't. I have like one wall panel left in the bin from that set, which is depressing. But I didn't build anything till 2019, honestly. Like, I love Lego. I played with Connects and Erector sets. I don't know if you guys had those.
Connects, yes, yeah.
Connects.
That's a throwback, yeah.
I see. The roller coasters and all that stuff. Erector sets were like metal. Like, you built like metal roller coasters, metal robots. It had little nuts and bolts and washers, and you built things with them. And so I had those for a while, and then it kind of just died. I got into sports and doing high school stuff and schooling and whatnot. And then my wife actually got me Poe Dameron's X-Wing for Valentine's Day because I love Star Wars. And I built it. And after I built it, I was like, why have I not been doing this? Like, this is so fun. I just lost myself in it. All that mattered in that moment was building that and having so much fun. But then once I had it, I was like, okay, now I have an X-Wing. I need a bad guy. I need a bad guy to go with this. So I got Kylo Ren's shuttle. And then I was like, well, that's really big. It's a shuttle. And I got an X-Wing. I was like, it doesn't fit. So I went and got the Falcon. And I'm like, I want something else. I want something more. And then I went and got the Star Destroyer. And I was like, wow, that was a lot. Let's dial this back a little bit. Let's get some smaller sets for a minute. And then I actually saw Matt Mellish on TikTok because I was making some like construction TikToks and some simple stuff, which, again, I didn't want TikTok at all. My wife kept sending it to me, and I was like, fine.
That's another way we are the same. Yeah.
Yep, we get it. Fine. And then I started seeing things that I can relate to, and I'm like, oh, I guess I could probably try doing this. So I tried making construction content, relationship stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then I saw Matt, and I had just started my Lego thing. And I was like, why don't we put this together? Let's put these two together. And so I think maybe 3 or 4 months after February, so what, July of 2019 roughly is when I started actually putting it out there. But I was scared to put my face out there. Honestly, I didn't want to do screen time content right off the bat. So if you go back to my original content, it's like me trying to make little minifigures do things, and it's really cheesy, really cheesy. But it worked for a time, and then I started combining that with like being broke and wives and relationships and trying to sneak things in the house and being an adult husband who also enjoys the Lego hobby and try to create content around that, because I felt like it was unique. Yeah, I couldn't see anybody doing that. I saw like these stop motion stuff and people going to the store and kids playing with Lego and investments, and I'm like, well, I don't see any much content for adult husbands who just enjoy building some Lego, you know. So I did it, and here we are. What, 2 years later, having a good time with it. So I just kind of keeps going. I don't.
So when did you? At what point within that journey did you then? Because I know you've moved on to YouTube, you've got a solid foundation there, and I think you're kind of suffering the same thing that all of us suffer from, who predominantly are on TikTok. Is we want to maintain that kind of TikTok foundation, but TikTok absorbs the vast majority of our creation time. So it means that our YouTube content is a lot more kind of few and far between and sporadic, other than kind of live streams like this. But at what point did you think, okay, I want to give this a go? Why did you want to do that? And then kind of what has been your journey into YouTube as well? Because you do have a good following on there.
I think I have like 1,300 followers or 1,200. I maybe less than that, something like that. I don't know. It's over 1,000. But the YouTube thing was, I was doing a lot of TikToks, and I honestly, there were sets that I was upset about. I like the General Grievous Starfighter. I still haven't made a review about it, but I was very upset with the price point on it, and it made me start thinking like, okay, people always put their opinions out. People do reviews, people do stuff like that. And the whole point is, for me at least, whenever I get on and look for a set or something I want to buy, I don't like, I'll start watching one. If it doesn't have my same vibe, like I don't really agree with what his points are. Like I'll find one that kind of fits more with my interests. And so I figured, yeah, there's a bunch of reviewers on there, but why don't I also put my opinion in the pot, you know, as an option? So why not? And then I got into the stop motion stuff, and I wanted to share that with people because that was crazy. I always love that, seeing things get built piece by piece by piece without people's fingers in it. And honestly, then we started doing stud buds, which is crazy. We've been so many different dates and times. Brad, thank you, Brad, for work-related changes and stuff like that as an adult is. But the struggle for me is finding the time, you know, to actually get the set, review it, take 1,000 different takes. Because I don't know how you do it, but for me, I record the same thing 1,000 times over and over and over and over because I get tongue twisted or I mess up or something like that. And it's just time. Finding the time. I can make a 10-second TikTok in between making dinner and coming home and getting ready for bed. Or I got to sit here and film a YouTube video for a couple hours. And then also the editing and the production time and try to make it fun. Because my YouTube reviews are also kind of wacky at the same time. Kind of like, you know, they've got noises and pops and blah, blah. So it's just hard to find the time for YouTube. I want to keep doing it, but it's hard.
It is. And I feel like, so obviously the subscribers you have is very similar, probably the same as, for the benefit of this conversation, is the same as me, which essentially ticks the monetization box, but then it comes down to watched hours, and watched hours is just, it feels very unattainable. It's not that it isn't, but for when, like everything you've just said there makes it unattainable, because you just, like, the time you have to put into it and how much time you have to put, like how many videos you have to be churning out and different types of relevant content. It feels like, and those that I've seen do it, what they've done is essentially give up TikTok. SW Bricks and Figs, who I had on the other week, he's had an amazing year this year, but you know, he did kind of say like, look, TikTok's not going to be the place for me. Got to 20,000 followers long before I did, and then just kind of left it there. Then he feeds stuff in every couple of weeks or months or so, as just as like little bait. But it's a big thing to think, you know, especially for you, I'm on 56,000 followers, you're on 200,000 plus, and like, you know, it's a big thing to walk away from that. I say, I'm just going to put that to one side for a minute, whilst I go and focus on this thing over here. But then you also have someone like Matt Mellish sat there. Matt's on kind of over 500,000, 8,000 subs on YouTube, but his focus is still on TikTok. And I'm like, what? Like that, if you monetize that 8,000 subs and into watch time, it's surely more worthwhile. But yeah, it's whether, I don't know. TikTok has this great ability to just keep you there.
Whether it does. It's hard because it's so easy and simple in a way to just keep doing TikTok. And again, I think it's the time thing. It's like I can make 10 videos in 30 minutes here for TikTok, or I can make one in 2 hours and hope it does good on YouTube. So it's like a scare factor. Like I'm scared to go to YouTube because YouTube literally is an abundance of content. If you want to know how to fix a car or a motorbike or build something, anything you need, if you have a sickness and you're curious, like, oh, am I sick? You can find it on YouTube. So it's really hard to grow. Whereas at least when I started TikTok, it was a big thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now. Like it's grown so much from when I started. And I think that's why you don't have like 800 plus Opie, because if you started when I started, you would be far beyond me, way far beyond me, because and it's saturated. It's saturated with Lego creators right now. And for me, at least, and I think I've been kind of in a rut because like us, there's been other people that come out that are married, husbands, adults that are trying to make content that makes similar content. And just like YouTube, I don't like this person's style, but I like this person's style. It's the same type of content, but I vibe more with this. So it kind of, branches people out a bit more, which makes it a little more difficult. I don't know.
To be honest, the rules seem to change so often on TikTok that it's hard to keep up. So it's difficult. By the way, Jamie, I know you missed the start, but no, not soft drink. I'm on a margarita, and it's my third one of the night. So,
by the way, we did talk before because you came on when I was building the Moss Isley Cantina.
Of course, yes,
came on for a bit, and I was upset the other night building the gunship. You were drunk and you didn't come say hi.
I was literally getting into bed as you said that. So
you could have just played it off as I'm drunk, I'm shirtless, I'm coming in to say hi. I've been like, get in here.
I was so drunk I wasn't getting back out of bed. That was the problem. But never mind. Another time indeed. But yeah, it is an interesting one because like that whole thing, like how saturated it is. And I find that TikTok is definitely more saturated with people like us, minus the Lego. So like but then it's kind of okay, there's clear opportunity there to integrate Lego into your niche, but at the same time into your kind of market, but also at the same time it has to be agreeable with the non-Lego fan as well. I feel like that's the big difference going out of 2021 than coming into 2021. Like there's a lot of I feel like we relied on a lot of T-falls to keep us self-perpetuating. But yeah, that they've kind of just gone off and played because that's what T-falls do. They go and kick a ball, or they go and play a game or something, or go and smash some windows or something. And we need to then reach out into the further market. Not to say that can't be done, but it just means that kind of low-hanging fruit has certainly gone. But then obviously, I think, with Instagram, a lot of the AFOL community is on Instagram, and they've looked at TikTok and thought, don't fancy that. But then also Instagram now has Reels. It now has reply to comments with a video in Reels. So it's almost like, what has TikTok got that Lego that Instagram hasn't got? So it's an interesting space, and it depends who you speak to. But I'm interested to see kind of how next year plays out.
I agree. Same thing with Instagram Reels and stuff. I've noticed that I'm still lurking and twerking. Ooh, I'd like to see you twerking, my guy. Oh man, he must have had a few beers himself. Ooh, spicy. But with Instagram, I started I screen record my TikToks before I post them because I've noticed that if you share it without the TikTok watermark, it does better. I don't know how it does for you, but for me, it does better
100%.
without the TikTok watermark.
Yeah.
So I do that, and it does really good. Like a lot of my videos on Instagram are like 100,000 plus views, which is better than
You've had
TikTok.
You've done a couple of million view ones now as well.
I do. I have one at 3.3 million and one at 2.5 million, and then one's
one of those,
the
Thanos doing karaoke.
That one's a 1 point something move. The
one, I thought that would have been the top one.
It's not, which is crazy. So the one that got 3.3 million, I don't know how it got there, but it's literally the video of me looking at the Death Star, and like someone like it's the Jake from Adventure Time. I don't know if you've ever seen Adventure Time, but like I'm looking at the Death Star, someone walks in, and I scream. I'm like, "Oh, Jake, didn't see you there." Like that's it. That's all I say. And it's like when you're like when you forget you have a wife or something like that. And it's at 3.3 million views on Instagram. I don't understand why that one has more, but it does. But I think you're right. The adult side of content is better on Instagram, more or less, because all the AFOLs are there. And a lot of people I work with are like, "Oh, you do TikTok? Isn't that for kids and like dancing girls and stuff?" And I'm like, "Not always. It's Legos."
Definitely not. Yeah. Using Lego as an example of why it's not for kids probably doesn't help with these people.
No, it doesn't. They're like, "You build Lego."
Yeah, just tell them to go on TikTok, type in the hashtag thirst trap, and then then their minds will change. But do you know what I think is always weird about that as well? Because I do exactly the same, and I do it on Shorts as well, because that's how kind of built that community there. But how different videos perform. So like I've got a video that's like done like over 500,000 views and is still going from September on TikTok. Dropped it on Instagram, thought it's more made for the Instagram market, and it just did like 5,000 views and stopped.
Yeah, right.
And then you do the other way, and then something will boom, like you've just said there. Like it just, they don't touch it. But yeah, it's just,
it doesn't make any sense. Oh,
no.
How tall is the AT-AT, by the way? How tall is that?
That one.
Yeah, that one. Not the new one. That one.
14 inches.
Oh wait, do we have a measuring stick? How do we measure that?
Not right now. It's a weigh.
Oh.
that was a series that I didn't know I was even going to happen. But yeah,
I love that series so much.
I did the first one with the Rancor, thinking, like when he said it, I was like, well, that's like an average size, so like that's quite funny. And then all of a sudden Epic comes out with that video like less than a week later, and I'm like, I can't not do it now.
You have to. But you have
to. What's it? So, well, I mean, Jamie's asking a very related question. Thoughts later on mixing adult humor with Lego, like the cock comes to mind. So I think this is the future, Zane. So I think to be sustainable as an individual, not as a community, but as an individual creator, that your niche is Lego, because the good thing is we've got like pretty much everybody, certainly in the Western world, has had Lego at some point. Or they at least can associate something with Lego. They've had a brother that's played with it, or they've had, a sister, like they've had somebody, or they've been around Lego at some point in their time, even if it was at school. So everybody can associate with that. Then you've got the Star Wars stuff, and then a bit of Marvel stuff. So people can associate with those franchises as well.
Yeah.
But then it's, probably spending the most of this year from me being quite family friendly and kid friendly. And TikTok, you're always wary of getting banned, but I feel like it's a lot easier not to, unless you're broad sliding your car around the streets of Utah.
Sometimes.
But yeah, I feel like it's a bit more relaxed now, especially when you see other people's lives and other people's videos. I think there's a bit more space for that. But that's what I would see as the future, is like you have to kind of appeal to the demographic. And what I see is that demographic is that kind of millennial, kind of 20 to 40-year-old kind of humor, which is that kind of more adult, cheeky, tongue-in-cheek humor, like a bit of like, that's what I would see. What do you think?
I agree. Because it's different, honestly. I feel like you're right in the fact that that's what's coming, and that's the next big thing, because we all do the money thing, we all do the broke thing, we all do the we're going to store thing, we all do that. Like right now, advent calendars, everybody has an advent calendar. I don't have an advent calendar because everyone's doing advent calendars.
That was my most liked picture I've ever posted on Instagram, was the Ned Stark, brace yourself, advent calendar posts are coming. The amount of likes that got on the 30th of November or the 1st of December. But yeah, I totally get that. And that is one of the problems with the community.
It's just the flood of the same thing. And so, like, you're right, the cheek and tongue humor, the kind of slightly inappropriate hints, I feel like that's the next big thing, especially for us AFOL people. It's adult type Lego content, kind of merging the two. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just like marriage and Lego. You know, measuring the size of other objects with Lego. I mean, I feel like I don't know what I can say and what I can't say because of stud butts. I'm so worried I'm gonna say the wrong thing here.
Well, I mean, we're sitting drinking out. This is the late hour. The late
This
hour
is
with
this is the
Opie-One. So,
After
yeah.
Dark with Opie-One. Measuring your cock with the AT-AT.
Your male chicken.
The male chicken.
But,
yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you, honestly.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So when you sit here now, because obviously it's a good time to reflect and also make plans for going forward. But if you're sat here this time at the end of 2021, do you have anything where you sat here now thinking this is the space I want to move into? These are the numbers I want to achieve. This is the kind of the milestone I want to achieve. Are you sat there now, or is it just, look, I'm on this riding this amazing wave and I'm just going to keep riding it and see how far it takes me?
Honestly, like, life's pretty good right now for me at the moment. I mean, I got a new job, amazing people there, amazing life right now. I honestly, the only goal I really have is to be able to get to 300,000 followers, but not because of the follower count, just to be able to reach more people. You know, I do my content because I like to be funny. I like to create humor and comedy in the world because, like, right now the world is crazy and stressed and just on a downward spiral, and I like to be a little bit of light in everybody's darkness. And so I just want to be able to reach more people. But again, if I stayed the same, I would just be happy with where I'm at. Like I like you said, this amazing wave. I love what I'm doing. I love being able to make this content, talk to great people like you, Opie. You're an amazing individual. It's just all great right now. It really is. The Brick Educator, he is one of the first people that reached out to me to be on his podcast, but he hasn't started the podcast yet. Again, stopped for a while there. Can't blame him. I mean, he's going through some stuff at the moment where he has to currently reside living. But just the people you meet, the experiences you get, the sponsorship, the people that want you to represent their company, it blows my mind. Like the other day I was watching a Game of Bricks ad that I made for him. And my mother-in-law was like, "Oh my God, here's Zane looking at his own videos again." Because I don't know if you guys do that, but I watch my own videos and laugh at myself. Like,
yeah,
that's the content I post.
I am a narcissist, so yes.
Oh yeah. I'm like, that's funny right there. Like, I don't care if you guys like it or not. I think it's hilarious. But she said that, and I was like, well, actually, it's not me. It's a commercial that I made, and I wasn't being arrogant or anything like that. I was just happy that I was able to achieve that level, like that goal, because that was one of my goals. Was I always wanted to like it, and now not only do I have a like it, but I'm representing them. They trust me with their name, with their brand, with their equipment, all their stuff. It's just like a high of endorphins. You know, the people that you meet, like you, the comments, the followers, the sponsorships. It's just so great. I couldn't ask for anything better. So I can't say I really have any goals. You know, just want to keep doing what I'm doing.
And again, I think all of that really resonates with me. Like, as much as I have these moments where I'm like, right, I'm gonna chase this, I'm gonna go after this, and I will achieve them. But the one thing that always keeps me here is the community. And 56,000 on TikTok, 12,000 on Instagram, 1,300 here. But there is that core of probably around 50 people who kind of are part of my community wherever I go and I constantly connect with. And it's those 50 people that kind of keep me energized, keep me, and keep me interested. It's those that are like, Opie, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Like, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. Let's have a look. Or you should. Like, I always love it when somebody tags me in something, it's like, you need to talk about this, because then like that, I mean, yes, I'm a narcissist, but when somebody is like, you need to, like, they're actively saying, we want to see you talk about this, and like it could be, and you could have like 500 followers, you could have 10 followers, and if somebody's doing that, you're winning. Like, for me, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I again, we're just on levels. But an important question this week: do you have your No Way Home tickets?
Son of a bitch! No, I don't.
No.
I will probably be getting them on Tuesday. Tuesday's payday for one. And last time I looked, they were sold out everywhere. But I don't know how you feel. Tobey Maguire is my guy. Tobey Maguire is the one that I grew up with. You know, the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, like that. The Pizza Parlor. Like, that's my thing. Like, I love Tom Holland. I like Andrew Garfield. But I really want to see Tobey Maguire. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah. I mean, definitely want to see them all together. But yeah, Toby, I mean, he's the only one who got the complete trilogy. Well, I suppose Tom Holland gets it now. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, who's your favorite? Who's the favorite villain out of all those?
Do you know, somewhat of a controversial opinion, I don't put any of the Spider-Man, like our three Spider-Mans, I don't put any of those on a pedestal and be like, boom, you're awesome. I think that as good as some of they are, I wouldn't say any of them have really hit the potential of Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is like, and that could be my own view. Like, I grew up with animated Spider-Man, which obviously in animation you can go far more OP. And maybe I just put him on a pedestal that he can't live up to. But when I think of, so I always love the Chameleon, and the Chameleon just hasn't even been touched upon yet. I love Venom.
Oh.
Now this is where it gets interesting, right? Because as the future, do we get that? You know, so maybe in the future I'll have a bit of a different view, but I don't know. I don't feel like any, as good as they all are, and I take nothing away from them, I don't feel like any of these guys are my Spider-Man yet.
You know, I haven't really thought that through, but you're right. Sorry, continue. I'll touch on it in a minute.
I was just going to say, Tobey Maguire, for me, having that, because he will be older, that older, more mature, almost a little bit grainy Spider-Man or Peter Parker could be my guy, but we'll see.
I think I didn't even think about it like that, because they're all unique in their own way. So it's hard. It's like comparing like a shoe to a dog, to like they're different. They're the same character, but they all have their own twist, like the Iron Spider or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. You know, they're all different. You're right. I didn't like Tom Holland still in high school.
Yes, I think so. Tobey Maguire is the only one that actually has web that comes out of his body.
I like that. I like that better.
But it's like worlds apart. But obviously, that's the beauty of the multiverse. Is Venom the sixth member? I don't think he is, because Venom's a bit more of an anti, and I don't think Tom Hardy's Venom fits with it. I feel like he's an anti-hero, right? He's always trying to do what's right. He might not agree with Spider-Man, whichever Spider-Man he kind of goes up against, but I don't think he aligns with the Sinister Six. It could be Chameleon, because Chameleon has the ability to change his identity. So we might have seen Chameleon, but we haven't seen Chameleon. But that's just me.
Well, Venom, he seemed very. I don't know if you saw the after the credit scene. Did you see that with Venom?
Yeah. I mean, I only went to see it for that credit scene. So
So you see him lick the TV screen. Like, I feel like there's going to be a clash at some point between Venom and him. But I think you're right. Even though Tom Holland in the interviews says that he does really enjoy playing the villain, and giving like a darker side to things. There's like Bane and stuff like that. He enjoys that. So I could see him having that twist. Like, okay, we're on the run now. We're not at home. We're doing our thing. I'm not trying to be this good reporter anymore. Let's just go all out. Why not? Like, I could see him doing bad things, but not necessarily full evil. Like you said, like kind of like an anti-hero. Like if I need to be a hero, I'll be a hero. And I think in the comics or the cartoon stuff, animations, Spider-Man actually teams up with Venom a couple of times.
Well, this is the thing. It depends which story you read. So yes, and the MCU is its own story, right? So it's drawing inspiration from animation and other comic books, but it's not telling a specific story, but it's drawing a lot of inspiration. So you are second guessing, and ultimately until you see it. But I don't know. For that reason, like the Sinister Six, that there are about 20 of them, right? So it's not actually six, but at any given time there are six of them, but from this bigger pool. But it is the Kingpin that pulls them together. So whether that's going to be the case here, I don't know. But I think I don't know. But I'm going on Wednesday. I'll know more on Wednesday.
It's so just like Sinister Six. No, Sinister. It's just like Suicide Squad. I mean, it's the same number of people, but they change.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. But I am going at 11 p.m. on Wednesday to see it. So I already have tickets for Friday to see it. But then, because it releases here 2 days early, I really didn't. Oh, yeah. But I couldn't go 48 hours. And I'd have to come off social media, which I obviously can't do. So yeah, my cinema has released some more viewings, and there's one at 11 p.m. at night. So I've booked onto that. So I'll be home at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Are you going by yourself or with people?
My wife. I did give her the option because she's coming on Friday with me as well, but she's really not that bothered. But I did see. I will go on my own if you want me to on Wednesday night, but I am going on Wednesday night. So,
so you saw Venom, right? You saw Let There Be Carnage.
Yes.
So did you see when the police officer had the blue eyes, like had the rings in his eyes? You know that's Toxin, right? You know who Toxin is?
Yeah, he's like another symbiote.
He's a mix between Venom and Carnage. So like he's like a red torso with like black arms or blue arms, stuff like that. But he's like a good guy. Like he genuinely tries to be a good guy. So what's crazy to me is in the Venom Let There Be Carnage, they have this kind of cameo, kind of hint towards Toxin. But then now Venom's in another dimension. Like, did Toxin come with him?
Yeah.
Is Toxin gonna be somewhere in this? Did all the symbiotes come with him? Like, it raises questions. What are they going to do?
I don't feel like we're going to get all the answers in No Way Home either. I feel like
for sure.
But have you seen the Morbius trailer with Jared Leto or Leto?
I did.
So that's part of the Sony Spider-Verse. And it feels like No Way Home is going to shuffle the Spider-Men into wherever they are. And then you're going to have the MCU go off this way, and then you're going to have the Sonyverse go off this way. But it's who gets drafted into what. We just don't know. But Morbius, again, is part of probably the same universes that we're seeing Venom in. But who knows?
I'm actually kind of excited for the Morbius one. It's different. It's like a different super anti-hero Venom type of thing, you know?
Yeah, and it's interesting how they play him because initially Morbius, from my source material that I'm familiar with, he is a bad guy, but then he becomes somewhat self-aware, and in doing so, he tries to kind of help himself and he tries to fix it, and he doesn't want to essentially he's a vampire and he doesn't want to feed off people. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play it. I'm like, it's what a time to be alive.
I'm still heartbroken though. Tony Stark, Iron Man 2008. They changed the Disney Plus thing for Marvel, and it actually upset me the other day because someone pointed it out on TikTok. I'm like, no way. I got to see this. So you click on there. Tony Stark's gone. Captain America's gone. I think Hulk's gone now too.
No. What, like the little icons?
Well, no, the top. So the top banner.
Oh, okay,
so click on Marvel. It's got Captain Falcon on there now. It's got Hawkeye. Scarlet Witch. It's got.
The kids don't know.
They don't know. Oh, It hurts me.
Yeah, I feel like he had to go like that. Like some of the I feel like they all got probably the right ending. And is Hawk? Have you been watching Hawkeye?
I haven't. I need to watch it. I hear it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice kind of week by week watch. I think it finishes. I think there are only 2 episodes left, and I think it is going to tee up into kind of future stuff. But it's nice. But I kind of hope they don't drag it out. I hope they don't do more series with Jeremy Renner. Like he's the last one that needs his send off, right? So,
yeah. Like,
we'll
when's
see.
he gonna go? Like, when's his time?
Yeah, exactly. But what a time! What a time! So, where are you caught up with stuff? Have you watched Loki?
I love Loki. I actually really liked Loki.
WandaVision?
I like WandaVision. WandaVision was a little hard at first to get into. First 3 or 4 episodes,
like,
it was like
on like when it was all in black and white.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going? Then I started to realize what's happening. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is good. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Like I think it was like the 3rd episode. I was like, okay, so we're at different times periods. Each time it's changing. Like, oh, okay, like where is this going? And it kind of hooked me in more because I'm like, what is this? Like, why is this way? Where is this going? I have to see what's going to happen now. I did not watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't really care to see that.
It was all right. It was probably my least favorite of them all. I felt like it was just a bit action. It probably would have been better as a film, I think, or like as a movie rather than as a series.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it just dragged on a little bit. I feel like that could have just been a 90 to 2 hour, 90 minute, 2 hour film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but yeah. What If? Did you watch What If?
I did like What If. I saw that too. I did like What If. It was a different ending than I thought. I didn't expect a spoiler alert. I don't know if you guys have all seen it, but like Ultron, when Thanos stepped in and Ultron's like cuts him in half.
Yeah,
I'm like, why didn't Vision do that in the first place? Like, why didn't he so many things would have been solved. So much.
Buzzsaw. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It was, but I suppose that's probably to emphasize the nature of the differences between Vision and Ultron. But no, I liked it because I think they've said it's MCU canon as well. It's just in like other universes, whether we'll ever see them. But I know we're getting a series too. But yeah, it's in good shape. It's in good shape. Are you excited then for Book of Boba Fett?
I am very excited. I'm curious to see if Mando is going to play any part in it. I know that Boba's on his own thing, but I feel like Mando's going to have to play some type of cameo. Maybe it's later after they meet to each other, because I don't know if you saw the trailers, but Boba looks a little bit more beat up than last time with Mando. Mando, he had his fresh paint job on his armor. Now he's a little bit scraped up again. So maybe it's a little bit past that. Mando's off doing his thing finally. I don't know.
There's a back to tank scene as well, isn't there, where he's getting patched up and stuff. This is the reality, and I've said this a couple of times, is although we get not a lot of footage. There's probably about 4 or 5 minutes of trailer out there. How that fits into 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes, we just don't know. And you don't know what order they're in, and they did that very well with the Mandalorian. What they gave us nothing, but it still created the hype. So I kind of hope they don't. Personally, I hope they don't bring Din into it, because
really,
I just feel like we're at different points in unless it's through flashback and shows us a little bit before kind of where we've seen.
Kind of tie them together.
Yeah, but I just feel like I don't feel like Boba needs Din, and Din now doesn't need Boba. Boba's not he's essentially not a Mandalorian. He's not bothered about Mandalore. He's just a simple man trying to work his way through the galaxy, and he's not out there. Whereas, Din is not he's essentially not going after Mandalore right now, but I think that's what season 3 is shaping up to be, is him and Bo-Katan. I don't feel like they need each other, but at the same time, You never know what scrapes Mando will get himself into, and he might need to call in some Boba backup, but who knows? But I am excited for it.
Boba backup. That's good. I honestly, I think I agree with you. Boba can stand alone by himself. I'm happy to Boba finally get some recognition. I mean, you barely saw him in the movies, and he was just killed like that. So it's kind of cool to see him, get the light a little bit. He's a really cool bounty hunter, really mysterious. Let's see what he can really do as a bounty hunter, not just helping Mando or Vader or helping other people, like his own center. Like I even saw stuff that people are theorizing, like, what if Jabba's not actually dead? What if Jabba's coming back for the palace and Boba's there?
There are a lot of other Hutts. So even if Jabba's not there, the Hutts might come back for him.
I couldn't see Jabba the Hutt. I couldn't see him being alive. Honestly, with his number 2 in command, whenever Boba goes in, if Jabba was still alive, I feel like Jabba would have been back by now. No,
I agree. I agree with that. So. But yeah, it's I'm interested, and there's Rotter. So from the Clone Wars, we see Jabba's son. He was in the Clone Wars movie, never to be seen again. Interested to see where he ends, if he comes into it. There's a whole load, we don't really know what happened to Bosk, and if we do, if it's written down, they're open to change these things. I'd love to see the reassemblance of Krait's Claw, which was his bounty hunter crew through the Clone Wars and probably up until Empire Strikes Back.
I love that movie.
It's an awesome movie. It's it's a work of art. But we'll see. And the talent, what's interesting is the talent some stuff through War of the Bounty Hunters, which is the current comic book run, which I'm not fully into reading yet.
Yeah.
But they are kind of talent stuff through there. So there is some source material. But yeah, it's a good thing for sure. Have you watched, if we go backwards, did you watch Bad Batch?
I did. I actually like Bad Batch a lot. I watched.
Did you watch? Because the last time I heard, you hadn't seen Clone Wars yet. So
I did watch it. I did. I watched all of Clone Wars before I even started Bad Batch.
Okay, makes sense.
So yeah, it really helped. It genuinely did. And honestly, that's kind of why I like the Republic gunships now, because I honestly, before watching the Clone Wars, I was like, what's the hype behind this vehicle? I mean, it shows up a couple times in episode 2. What's the hype behind it? And then I went and watched Clone Wars and Bad Batch and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, this thing is everywhere. Like, it's kind of like the X-Wing, but in that era. Like, it's everywhere. So I get the hype for that now. But Clone Wars is different than I thought it was. The animation, I have to get past the animation. But it was better than I thought. It was actually way better than I thought. Same with Bad Batch. I like Bad Batch.
People often say that about the animation, but for Rebels, because they're so used to the animation in the Bad Batch. Have you watched Rebels yet?
That's like, it was hard enough for me to go from live action to animation, and then, like you said, now we're gonna change the animation style and go from Clone Wars to Rebels.
Do it, man.
Yeah.
Watch Rebels. Rebels, for me, Rebels is right up there. I've watched Rebels more than I've watched the Clone Wars. I have never, since I've watched the Clone Wars, I've probably 1 or 2 episodes I've gone back and rewatched. But Rebels, I've rewatched the whole series, like the whole everything, numerous times. The storytelling is brilliant. And I think if you watch Rebels and how comparable it is as a base to Bad Batch, basically a crew on a ship, it really then shows you the missed opportunity with Bad Batch because of how they focus on like these 1 or 2 when there's like this whole crew there.
Really?
But yeah, Rebels is awesome. And obviously as an original trilogy fan, it brings in, because it's set in the Rebel era and it basically ties up to A New Hope. It then runs into Jedi. So yeah, I think you'll certainly, as you get into it, you'll get a lot out of the storytelling. But once you pass series 1, the animation is there. The man has spoken himself. Get
Uh,
And I think the point is, Matt, I think it's more that, like, it doesn't bother me whatsoever, but I think I don't know if you're talking about Rebels or Clone Wars here, but I think it's more that if it is Rebels, a lot of people are just I certainly at the time was so used to the Clone Wars animation, and that all they did was compare them. But actually, if you look at it through its own light, it's difficult. Jamie,
yeah.
thanks for sticking with us, man.
Thank you,
I'm
Jamie.
guessing it's very late in Bulgaria. Oh no, you're in UK, right? You've been to Legoland today. So
Did he go back? Did he finally get back from Bulgaria?
I saw that he was I saw that he was at Legoland today, and I mean, they don't have a Lego store in Bulgaria, so I very much doubt they've got a Lego land in Bulgaria. But yeah, what a comment this is, by the way. I'm sure you should appreciate that, Joe. Right, wow. That's a bold statement, but
that's unbelievably bold. Like, she'll find you.
She will. She'll be just clicking through YouTube one day, and she'll click on that exact moment because they miss nothing. They miss nothing. But
they never do.
But yeah, watch Rebels. You absolutely have to watch Rebels. It's an awesome show.
Well, that ties in with Obi-Wan and Maul.
Yeah,
that whole thing. Oh, speaking of that, Obi-Wan, your video about I was expecting Kenobi. That video that you made is probably one of my favorite. Like, I love that video that you made. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Disney Plus deal one. Yeah,
you're like, I was expecting Kenobi. Oh, I love it.
Here's the thing, though. So this is a really good example of like the madness of TikTok. That video did 335,000 views in a day, which is like I've never had a video do that many views in a day, and then just stopped. So that was on the Friday afternoon. On the Saturday morning, it just stopped, and I've had the very few drip feeds in, but like, you're like, what? I'd like 60,000, 50,000, 60,000 likes, and just no idea. But yeah, it was just so well timed. I think I had the idea. I almost wanted the Kenobi trailer not to come out because I knew that opportunity lay there before us. But yeah,
I was hoping for Kenobi.
It earned me £7 in one day on the Creator Fund that did, which is my best ever day.
Oh wow! So the Creator Fund's been hitting different for me lately, which is.
I feel like I remember when I joined it, and I would check it every day, and I'd be like, "Wow, I've made like 50p today." And then I got to a point, I was like, "Fuck this! Like, this is ridiculous! Like, it's just, it'll be whatever it is." Now I check it about once a month, and I'm like, "Huh, I've got like a £10 in there." So,
yep. The thing for me is, I'm the same way. When I first got, I'm like, "Ooh, what are we making? What are we making? What are we making?" And then it got to the point where I was like, "Okay, it is what it is." Because one month there'd be like $150 in there. Next month it'd be like $30. So it didn't matter how much I posted, how much views, how many likes. It didn't matter because I was still growing the same. It just, I felt like whatever they decided to do is what was going to be there.
And so I saw Matt comment on this somewhere about this, but saying that lives are so important right now. But lives are just, I don't know about you, but lives are just that one thing that I just don't get the time to do anymore. And it pains me because I used to love going live, but yeah, it's tough.
Me too. I was live every day. And then my wife was even like, "Can you give me a little bit of time? Because you're doing YouTube and live and videos and can you just like stop?" I was like, "Oh, okay, yes." But
yeah, I can empathize. And I understand, and I think that's the big balance for me is trying to understand. It was easier when we were in lockdown. This is the thing, right? Because you were just locked in the house, like there was nothing else to do, and then it was a great escape to say, like, look, I just need some me time, or I need to go and talk to other people about things that I love and enjoy that I can't talk to you about. So it was great for that. But yeah, the world opening back up doesn't help with TikTok and all that, but there's what it is. Jamie, if you're still there, the one thing I'd recommend, Zane, I don't know if they have this at your Lego store. It's the only place I've seen it is the one in London. in the Leicester Square, but the minifigure factory where you design your own Lego minifig, and then they print your name. So I've got the print your name onto a 1x3 brick. So I've got, I don't know if you can see that. So I've got like a 1x3 brick with my username on there. They're rubbish because the options you get,
they're rubbish.
This is my sig fig that I built that day, and I have much better sig figs. I only got the dual molded legs because I wanted to put them on the throne because they're better for throne. But yeah, rubbish, but worth it for that, Jamie, if nothing else, to get that. Cost you about £10. They have it, but yeah, if you ever, Zane or anybody watching, if you're ever in a Lego store and they have that, it costs about £10. It's worth picking up just the once, so you've got it. See, Mr. Mellish comes in, our TikTok guru. Lives the community, not as much for gaining followers anymore. Yeah, I would agree with that. I always felt, I don't know what it's like anymore, but I remember once upon a time, they were great for pushing a video. Like if you went live for a couple hours, you'd come off and like a video would have like 20,000 views. You'd be like,
yep, okay, I remember that.
But they just keep changing that up, right? So it's hard to keep up with. Yeah. What made you stop with the? I assume it was a safety reason, but the driving to work videos. You kept getting banned for a point, didn't you?
I kept getting banned. Honestly, it was, I would read a comment and then I would just talk about that one comment for like 20 minutes. Like I wasn't sitting there focusing on the live. It was just, I don't have time to go live. So let's just do it here. I'm already on the phone talking to my wife or talking to my mom or talking to whoever's calling me or work or whatever. Why not just answer questions or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kept getting banned, kicked for doing that. So I was like, let's stop doing that, because we were getting breakfast, we were doing everything.
Oh, those are the days. Yeah, that was like my mid-afternoon slump, and I'd drop on a TikTok, and as you kind of grabbing your coffee, getting out, heading to work. It probably wasn't the best thing safety-wise, but you know, they were fun. Going through the drive-through. And the amount of times you must have diverted because I convinced you to go and get breakfast.
What are we getting?
Like, dude, I've just had Cocoa Pops. Like, what? No, go get McDonald's. Go and get Chick-fil-A. Go get this.
Yeah, we got it. Okay. All right, fine. We'll go get breakfast. Oh man, that's not really.
Where would you, with the kind of the lives and stuff? Do you foresee them coming back? And if so, will they be like, even if it's just live builds? Do you think that'll be on TikTok? Do you think it'll be on? Because YouTube's brilliant because you get that customizable camera and multi cameras and all that.
Oh yeah.
Do you see it there? Like what? And I get it's more difficult to say what will happen against what you would like to happen, but looking forward, what would you like? How would you like your lives to play out moving forward?
It's hard. I wish TikTok lives would come back because it was easier. You know, just go live, say what you're doing, and just build something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, YouTube's simple too, but it's a bit more complicated. I don't see it coming back as like it was.
Yeah.
You know, maybe followers would grow, but videos won't grow. I don't know. It's like something will change. It's hard to say.
Is there a ghost in your room?
No, there's my wife walking in because she's making Christmas soup. And anytime I'm live ever, she comes in the middle of it every time.
What's in Christmas soup?
Christmas soup. What?
I brought this whole spoon up.
Thank you for carrying the spoon all the way up the stairs. Shit.
Like I said, very careful.
Someone shouted the dog. Clean up this mess.
Come here, Diesel. Clean up this mess. What it is, it's good. It's ham, onions, celery, and it sits and it creates this broth, and then you pull the big things out, and then you boil potatoes and barley, and then you mix the broth, barley, ham, and potatoes.
That's what we be eating, folks.
That's what we be eating.
So I thought he'd gone to bed, right? And I wasn't going to ask this question. Something I wonder, but I asked all of the guys this. I asked Matt this a couple of weeks ago. But as Jamie has asked it, we'll kind of address it. But have you considered your own podcast, or I suppose your own kind of stream outside of Stud Buds? But I suppose the more general question is kind of what is life like for you outside of Stud Buds, and what is life for you in Stud Buds? Because you guys have come a hell of a way, right? You had your 1 year stream a couple of weeks ago. You watch, like, you've always, your energy is great. You all know kind of what each other are doing. Your production is really good. That's all kind of very uplifting now. But again, like, is there anything in there that you think, okay, it's limiting me and I'd love to go off and do my own thing and do this, but also do you look at what further opportunities does Stud Buds present you?
Honestly, the only thing, I don't see myself going off and doing my own thing. Honestly, I like the banter and being able to do it in like a little group setting.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. But if I was to, the only thing that really holds me back, and I don't mean this in a negative way.
G-rated content.
That, but Brad, honestly, I love Brad to death, and I'm happy we do this. I wouldn't change it for the world. But with not being able to talk about leaks or true opinions, or like say I truly hate something, like I don't want to say that because I want to hurt Brad's integrity. You know, his opinion with the show or Lego, stuff like that. I don't want to, be that guy. So I feel like that's the only thing that really holds me back is caring about Brad. You know what I mean? So if I could go off and make a show about myself and talk about my opinions of what I want, what I don't want, the leaks, all that stuff, that would be fun. But I really don't see myself doing that because I don't have the time, because I do Stud Buds. If I didn't do Stud Buds, I could do my own thing. But
yeah,
like you have this and TikTok and all that. I don't know.
But yeah, it's that thing though, isn't it, where Stud Buds is that kind of ever present in your diary. You've got a great crew around you and they pull you in, and when life is crazy, you can rely on those guys to kind of do whatever needs to happen, and then you can just drop in, turn up, drop some bombs and kind of leave, get shouted at by Matt, and and away you go. So I totally get it, from like when you have all of this other stuff going on, having that crew around you is pretty good, and having the banter that you guys have. And I think, again, when you look at how far the stream has come, you have to look at how far you as individuals have come as well. Ethan is a great example of that.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's just all the way. But he's and look at his TikTok.
Oh, he's over 1 million now.
The big words from Mr. Mellish here, by the way.
Yeah, I don't let Brad hold you back. And it's not that Brad's holding me back. It's that if I was going to, like, that's one of the reasons that I don't know. That's the reason I don't talk about those things on the show, because of Brad. Just like the reason we've changed the show time and date 10,000 times is because of Brad. Brad, his show, his jobs, which we get, we want him to be a part of it. We're supportive. It does just make things harder.
But this I suppose this is the problem as well, when you're four very different people in 3 different time zones. You're all in very different stages of your life. It's just that thing that you have to recognize and acknowledge, which absolutely you've done, and kind of seek to support each other and kind of work around it as best as you can. That's probably all you can really do.
Exactly.
And then go from there. But yeah, it's coming back to that point, isn't it, though? If the most important thing is you make it work, which you're doing. You're getting together and you're having those conversations. Because for me, it's as well as it's always really cool to have people listening. Sometimes it's just about having the conversation, and it doesn't matter whether there's kind of one person in here, 20 people, or what. It's more about connecting with those people. But what are your, not that I'm trying to kind of steal ideas at all, because I'm definitely not, but Christmas being on a Saturday and New Year's Day being on a Saturday, like, fucks up schedules, right? Like, without a doubt.
Oh, it fucking does.
So what? Because I'm thinking this potentially could be my last normal Opie-Verse of the year, just until the new year. I might be planning a kind of a special Christmas party stream, which I'll talk to you about offline, just to try and make that happen. But what are your guys? So kind of, as we start to move towards the end, but what are your guys, from a Stud Buds perspective, certainly plans over there? There's the next coming weeks and for Christmas, but then what are your longer term plans as well?
It sounds like you're really trying to pry at some ideas there, Opie. Trying to get some
I would
inspiration.
never admit it.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Last year we did kind of a community thing where we just let a couple of the guests come back on and hang out and just kind of build and talk, and not the usual stream, not as lined up, but just kind of random hang out, do our thing, which we might do the same thing again this year. We might do like a Christmas based show like we did with Halloween, or we kind of like, I have a sweater, but
Yeah.
like Halloween, we dressed up. We did Halloween-based tier lists. We did Halloween-based questions. We might do a Christmas type thing like that. But honestly, it's all hearsay. Tell like the week before. Honestly, down the road, we're trying to change things up a bit. We're trying to adjust and kind of fine tune. We figured out the segments we like. We found out how we like to do them, and we're trying to dial them back. Like, so we go for about 2 hours every show, and we're trying to kind of pull it back a little bit. Like my questions, when I ask a trivia question, Ethan takes a while to answer. Love Matt to death. Matt's doing math and trying to be smart about this. Brad's over there doing Brad stuff, Googling things. I don't know. And it takes forever. Like my segment's supposed to be fun and quick and random, and it's like 30 minutes later, you're like, oh my God. So like this last episode, I'm like, all right, 15 seconds for each question. I'm going to ask you a question. You got 15 seconds to answer it. If you don't answer it, it moves on. So just kind of the timing and stuff like that for the future. And then tier list, we're trying to branch it out from just themes to also minifigure CMF lines and probably potential other things. Just trying to tune it up, make it a little bit more interactive, as well as not just because we went from super interactive to super organized. Like, this is what it's about. And now we're trying to combine the two a bit more, Oh yeah, I commented this somewhere earlier today.
We will make it happen, Si. I'm sure.
It's a movement. It's happening.
Jamie, the Brick Educator, who is affiliated with Lego in kind of an unofficial way. Did you know there's no Lego stores in Ireland, Jamie?
Yeah, Jeremy, what are you doing, dude?
Like, come on, you've got inside connections. Like, make it happen,
Jeremy,
will you?
Join the cause, dude. I made a whole video about it. Next time you post a video, use hashtag Lego Store for Ireland.
Justice for Ireland.
And Justice for Ireland. Apparently, that's not really ideal. I
feel like we're past it. I feel like we're over it. I can't speak for Irish people, but I'd like to think we're over it. But
is this the whole like feud between the two of you? Is that what this is?
Well, I feel like, I don't know. The feud was probably more one way than the other, but the gripes were more one way than the other. But like that's kind of probably true of most countries with England specifically. Like English people just kind of sat there going, yeah, like we're king of the castle, and everybody's like, fuck you, man. But I'm northern, so like I'm closer to Scotland than I am London, so I always feel that too. Like, yeah, like so, yeah, it is what it is. But
I've been meaning to ask this: is Scotland kind of like the South to England? Like out here, we got Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma. Like that's the Southern people. Like they talk funny, they do their thing. Like is Scotland that way?
Yes, and very much no. Like it kind of is, but it's different. I'm trying to think what would be a good example of it, but like the problem is, so the way that our kind of government works is Scotland has its own government, Wales has its own government, and Northern Ireland has its own government, but they are all still governed by the British government or the UK government. But then England doesn't have its own government. But the UK government is the English government. So it's basically England still rules over kind of, and even when they rule themselves, they do so kind of with the English blessing. Like the English Parliament allows them to do that, that's kind of the gripe. So, and they still kind of make those decisions. So all of those areas are just a bit pissed off, which I kind of understand. Really. They just kind of like, we want to kind of do our own thing, but
well, I don't mean to get political. I was just honestly just curious because
just out of educating,
educating, like the Brick Educator should be doing. Not
but
going
what would be
Legoland.
interesting? What would be interesting from a political view, bringing Lego into it, if they did bring a Lego store into Ireland, because Ireland is obviously Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, but then also the Republic of Ireland, which is not part of the United Kingdom, but is part of the EU, which the United Kingdom is not, where would Lego, it's a very political decision whether they put it in Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, but not the EU, or in the Republic of Ireland, which is part of the EU, not the, like, that's a bold move, whichever way they go. And breathe.
Do you have to breathe, man? Breathe, please. Do you have to cross a border in Ireland? Like, is there like a border?
Well, this is a whole other thing, Zane. This is a whole. So, as part of Brexit, which I'm sure you're familiar with the term Brexit, which is where the United Kingdom left the EU, the biggest part we had is because Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, is separated by the Irish Sea. So there is a physical sea border, like water border. But there is if you look at a map, there is a border. And there is signs saying you are entering Ayr or Ireland, and you're entering Northern Ireland. There will be those signs, but there is no kind of crossing point, and that was one of the big sticking points. Is the people of Northern Ireland, and particularly of Republic of Ireland, they wanted to kind of be kept as one island. But Boris Johnson just kind of does whatever the hell he wants anyway. So, but he will not go. That's a whole other conversation. So the reality is, it's ever changing. We're still figuring it all out, and that kind of becomes part of the problem. But yeah, the decision of Lego, if now, like 5 years ago, probably wouldn't have been a problem, because essentially we're all part of the EU, which is all kind of part of one big political system. So it wouldn't have been a problem. But now, where they would choose to go would kind of be seen somewhat political. So there you go. Lego, politics, boom.
We won't be using Justice for Ireland anymore. We'll step away from that one. That was intense there, my good sir. Wow.
Just looping back though, just to swerve that subject, but with regards to, I know with Studbuds you guys do like 1 week on with guests. Are there any particular guests that you, as in you, Zane, not the rest of the guys, is there anybody out there that has not been on that you think I would love to have them on?
Like to have on the Opie-Verse?
No, to have on Studbuds.
Oh, like for me to have on Studbuds?
Yeah.
Oh, there is a lot of people. There's, one that has been on is Dom. I think Dom needs a redemption.
I've never had Dom on here.
Dom needs a redemption for our show for sure. His dad walked in the middle of it with behind him in his underwear. Like as we're in the middle of the show, the door opens up and his dad just stands there in his underwear.
On purpose.
On purpose. He didn't know he was on the show though. His dad was coming to say good night.
All right, okay. I want to be that kind of dad, but I would do it on purpose.
I didn't even see it. Like I've only seen the after. Like I didn't realize it, and they pointed out. And I've gone back and watched it, and it's all blurred out. But I feel so bad for him that he deserves a redemption. Honestly, honestly, I can't really think of some. I mean, we talked about Shebricks being on today.
Is that Lisa?
I think that's her name. Is that her name, Lisa?
Yeah, she does how to style your Lego and all that.
Yeah, her. Yeah. We talked about Liza being on there. I think Liza would be a good one. Have you had Liza on here yet?
I have had Liza, yeah.
I'm assuming it went well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it went really well.
I
don't think I've had a bad episode, to be honest.
Well, we feel kind of bad, and this is not anyone's fault, and we don't want to hate on our own show, but we haven't had many women on the show. Like we want to have more women. We want to kind of equal it out a little bit, but in the Lego community, there's a lot more. It's more male dominated. Like there's more men than women, and it's not our fault. It's just the way it is. So we would like to, help promote that it's okay for both and bring more women into it and do all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel like Instagram you'll find more. I totally agree. But actually by doing Size, so I appeared on Size stream a couple of weeks ago. Then I was on Greg London Bridge Bricks. I was on his on Friday. Yeah. And even just through doing those couple of streams, I've been introduced to a good amount of female earfalls that I didn't know existed. And this is my point though, is that the vast majority are still on Instagram and are either very under the radar or are just kind of non-existent on TikTok. But yeah, and Lego Danny Bob is a great example. She only came onto TikTok. I think she's huge elsewhere, but she only came on the TikTok back in early November, and she's already pushing like 2,000 followers. But yeah, it's a good. They are out there, but yeah, if you're kind of solely reliant on TikTok, yeah, there are nowhere near as many on there.
Well, not really just TikTok, just in general. I mean, I would love to branch out the community and help, get their views, because they might have different opinions than we do, just like any other person we bring on, and more advocating as well. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of like a Lego in general. That's why they brought out Friends and stuff like that, because they were like, no, this isn't just for boys. This is for everybody. This is everything. This is join in, do it, jump in there, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, what I find more interesting is, especially from the female earfalls, like a lot of them are going for like falcons and AT-ATs. So like it's just like, yeah, we're all in it together.
Exactly.
But yeah, but that's the good thing, isn't it? Lego breaks down barriers. We're all just earfalls. We're all just people.
That's exactly it. We're all earfalls.
This is a good question, though, and you almost answered it until I corrected you, but now I will ask that question. So I only started this last week, but I'm asking, and Matt, you're in the comments, so I'll ask you as well, because you're here, and I didn't ask you when you were on, but who would you like to see on the Opie-Verse who hasn't been on yet?
Oh, has Cy O'Connor been on the show?
He hasn't.
Cy O'Connor has.
Yeah, I want to see
Educator been on?
Who? Brick Educator? No. So we toyed with it because Jamie is absolutely invited. We paused it ever so slightly because I really want to do an Opie-Verse in person. So we're both sat in the room. And there was a potential with him coming back to the UK that could have happened. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen just because he's staying down south. But that would have been cool to have made happen. So yes, there is absolutely potential, but yes, Jamie will be coming on. Cy's there. Cy, I will message you either tonight or tomorrow, because yes, I would love to have you on as well. It'll be good. It'll be good crack, as you and I would see it in our regional.
I would die laughing to see the two of you guys sitting there chit-chatting and hanging out. Oh my God, it would be hilarious.
Do you think you would understand what I know? Like, so here's the thing, right? Like, people across Britain and the UK have very different accents. Like English, there are so many different English accents. There are so many different Irish accents. There are so many different Welsh accents, and the same with Scottish.
Yep.
But I'm from like the northeast of England, which is probably the furthest place in England from Ireland. But a lot of people, especially when I came to America, a lot of Americans thought I was either from Ireland or Scotland, because to what you think is the English accent, which is like, hello, my name's Harry Potter. How are you doing? Like that, like I don't sound like that, so I sound very different. But a lot of people always think I sound Irish or Scottish. So if me and Cy, what that means is I can understand Cy very well. So I would tend to speak a little bit faster. He'll tend to speak a bit faster. And it would be interesting to know if you would understand what a word we were saying.
Let's do it. I want to see. That's a test. But also for Bricks and Giggles, she is amazing. She is a beautiful, fun inspiration to a lot of the people.
Is this the one that you weren't on the stream, that you avoided the stream for?
Yeah, I got super uncomfortable. No, Brad likes to say that he invited her, but he didn't. I did. I reached out to her. I'm the one that asked the question. She said yes, and then I was not able to make it on the show that week. But I watched the show. She's very knowledgeable, very kind. She would be a great one for you to have on the show for Bricks and Giggles. And I'm pretty sure Matt can testify to that as well.
Indeed. I will. I'll put that one in the book, because I'm looking for people for next year. And I'm looking for a Phase 2 as well. So this is Phase 1 of the Opie-Verse, which is basically like, we're going all in. And the future phase is like a group of people. Like, so we do this as a bit of a group chat, but like very much just almost like sat around having drinks, and we'll talk about random topics, but like in a more group environment. But I want my audience to get to know kind of my community a little bit more before we start that kind of group environment, make everybody a bit more comfortable. But when that'll be, because the more I do this, the more people reach out to me and say, like, I want to come on, but then also the more people I unearth. So like, we'll just kind of keep going with this forever. But Matt, 100%. I mentioned it to him, but I haven't gone back and said, like, I want you on. But yeah, absolutely. And Element 7 tonight joined my TikTok live, which was like, and he is now subscribing as well. So to have Element 7 on as well would be
amazing,
unbelievable. But yeah, it's what a time to be alive. But that's kind of what I'm looking forward to next year.
Good.
Doing all that. What totally unrelated to Lego, because I feel like we could ask this now, but totally unrelated to Lego, Star Wars, anything like that. Dude, what are your plans for Christmas and New Year?
Get fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, my mother-in-law got so fucked up. I think it was Christmas Eve, that on Christmas, well, she actually fell asleep in the dog bed. And then Christmas morning, I woke my wife up. I'm like, hey, and maybe it was Thanksgiving. One of them, I woke my wife. I'm like, hey, I don't think your mom's waking up. We should probably go make the turkey. And she's like, nah, she'll get up. And I'm like, she's not getting up. We need to get up. And she didn't. So me and my wife ended up making dinner and everything like that. Got up, and she was so hungover all day. It was glorious. I loved it. Loved it so much. So, but on this year, so we go to my in-laws' house. We wake up, we have breakfast, we open presents, we have our morning, and then we go to my in-laws' house and we have presents there, and we eat lunch, and then we have our Christmas dinner with the whole family. We do White Elephant, and we also do like Beat Saber with the VR headset while we're all drinking, which is super fun. And then we play, I think it's called Jokebox or Jackbox, something like that. It's a game that through the Xbox or PC or Switch or whatever you have, where everyone can connect it with their phones, and like it's on the screen on the TV, and you play games. So you draw things, you answer questions, and like if you get it wrong, your little person on the screen dies, like they're killed. Like one's like ripped in half, or like you get shot with like nails. But it's like a little rag doll. It's not like bloody or anything, but it's like a little voodoo doll that is your character. Like mine's like an octopus, and someone else is like a dog, and you lose, so you die, and then you're out of the game. So yeah, we play games, stuff like that.
Sounds fun. Very festive indeed. No, I love that. So like that's what it's all about, right? Like regardless of what creed or anything, it's just it's that one time a year. When you can't do it, and the madness of the last 2 years, just that checkpoint to see, like, look, let's just get together and have a laugh. Just let's eat some food, drink some drinks, get fucked up. Let's make fools of ourselves and just enjoy each other's company. So that sounds awesome, man.
One question I would like to answer though, if you don't mind. Yes, Americans do have pigs in blankets. Yes. Do y'all have little smokies? Do you guys have little smokies?
Is that like smoky sausages?
Like the little sausages in a crock pot. You like get them with a toothpick?
Not like that. I know what you mean, but no, we don't do that.
Kind of like weird crisp sandwiches. Good Lord.
Dude, like, have you tried one yet?
I have not made an entire sandwich out of chips. I have dill pickle and chili chips downstairs. Crisps. I don't know.
Too complicated. Keep it simple. Salt and vinegar, cheese and onion, Lay's. Lay's are your crisps.
And onion.
Do you not get cheese and onion crisps?
Like that's a chip? Like you're not saying put cheese on it and onions on it?
No. Flavor of crisps.
Flavor of crisp. No. Cheese and onion crisps. What?
What? This is crazy.
We have ranch flavored.
Well, we don't even get ranch. Or not good stuff anyway. But
sour cream, dude.
Yes. So Pringles do that, and then I think but yeah, like just look. I'll do. I think I did a brief video on this, but I'll do another video for you and explain it. But all it is, there is nothing else. You need like cheap white loafed bread.
Yep.
Slathered in butter on both sides. It's obviously bread and crisps or chips are very dry, so the butter is that. Then your chips or crisps in the middle, and it all comes down to the flavor And then if you want, you can cut it in half, eat them in 2 little sides. If you're feeling bold, you can go 2 hands and just get stuck in, but you will not regret it.
So it's just butter and chips.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What
After
more do
this
you
show,
want?
I'm going to go make one, and I'm going to make a TikTok about this. I'm going to make a video being like, Opie, I think I did this right. Step 1, bread. Step 2, butter. Step 3, crisp. Step 4, eat. Like
That's it. It's as simple as that. That's all you need in life. That's all. Like on those days when it's maybe like a Saturday afternoon or even a Sunday afternoon, you know, the cupboards aren't full, you know, you're not feeling inspired. You just need to get stuck in. Have you a Marmite? But I'm not sure about this side. Right? I didn't know that. I thought it was British.
Maybe it's British, but it's that paste stuff, that thick.
Yeah.
Nope.
But I'm not sure about this side. I think no butter, like that. That's hella dry. But you know, each to their own. But yeah,
I guess.
But yeah. And yes, watch the roof of your mouth, because if you've got sharp crisps, then obviously they can just into the roof of your mouth. So be careful. So what I always say is, once you've done it, crush the sandwich,
smash
push
it,
the
right?
bread.
Yeah.
So it makes more like crumbs in there. But yeah, nice. But there you go. What a weird end. What a weird end. What I will say though, I'm going to point this out. Both you and Matt have answered the question of who you would like to see on here next. Neither of you have said Brad or Ethan.
You had to point that out on the show. Opie, you couldn't ask that afterward.
I feel like it's there for all to see. So
shit.
And I'm 3 margaritas and 2 pints of lager in. So
I'm 2 beers deep. I got a couple more swallows in here. Okay, let's be honest here. Let's throw it out to the crowd. Okay. Oh, Brad will be okay. Brad's good with us because he knows us and he understands not to take over the stream now. I don't know how he would be with you. I don't know. I step back. Ethan has built the confidence with us that I don't think he quite has with others. He's a very shy individual. You know what I mean? So it's taken a year for him to branch out and actually make inappropriate jokes like having blue balls at Brick Fiesta. You know,
on my level, that blue ball joke, it was fantastic.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Grinded me up deep. It was good. His mom had to explain to him what blue balls actually was. He didn't know. So Ethan, he would just be shy. He would just be kind of shy on the show. So he could be good. He would be a good one to ask questions, especially about TikTok and how to get to 1 million followers and mocks. I don't know if you saw our show just a minute ago, but he built a fucking 2-foot tall robot with a moving heart, a city for a brain, and the sun for the city is a firefly's ass. Like he built it in 4 days. Like it's huge and it has motors. He's a genius when it comes to mock building. So he would be one to ask those questions to. Brad, again, has built that screen personality, you know, when to talk, when not to talk, how not to cut people off, because he gets excited and he jumps the gun. He doesn't, like I do too. We all do. But I feel like Brad's one that would need a little bit of work, need a little time to work.
Or maybe the one-on-one will help with that, but both are very much invited. It's
yes.
And I've never, other than when I came on Studbuds, I've never spoke with Ethan properly other than text. Like I've never spoke to him like this, but certainly have with Brad a couple of times. But both are very welcome. But obviously with the problem with Brad is obviously this is even more relaxed and open than Studbuds, and he's kind of got less control, so he'd have to be even more careful. But you know, if he felt comfortable, I'd definitely have him on.
That's the thing. That's a question for you is with. Actually, you know, let me ask you this question. If you had Brad on or anybody that works for Lego, would you be able to take the show a step back and actually make it, you know, PG rated content?
Yeah, because I tend to kind of go where my guest takes me or leads me. So you led me to 3 margaritas and 2 beers. Like
fucking A, let's do it.
But like, you know, it's different different people, because with that as well, different people attract different audiences. So yes, I would absolutely do that for kind of what it is. But yeah, it wouldn't be an issue, but I would be obviously more concerned that, more like from Brad's perspective, that he's looking in and thinking like, I'm worried about, because he might watch an episode like this one and think I could never go on there, but actually this is the whole point. This is your episode. This is kind of, do you know what I mean? So, and then Brad's episode would be very different, as was Matt's and as is everybody else has been. Matt and I spoke about Star Wars lore like for a good 45 minutes, because that's the thing with Matt. He, with Stud Buds, he doesn't get the chance to talk about actual Star Wars that much because it's not that kind of stream. So it was great to kind of have him on here and do that. But yeah, it's kind of led by the individual. But then obviously at the same time, a big thing about Brad is the kind of is the Lego side of it, but he would be very restricted in what he could see. We'd have to plan it out a little bit more, but definitely love to have him on as well, because he's a high energy guy, and he's a very kind of, he's a very, he's very enthusiastic, which is brilliant for things like this as well. So
very
he's very passionate. But yeah, man, I mean, we're 15 minutes over, but I don't really care. But it's good. There's energy in the chat and all that, so it's been a lot of fun. But as I see, looking forward, who knows how this will develop. I don't really know, but it would be awesome to have you back on, and we definitely can't go this long without speaking again.
For sure, I agree.
And I think, what you did with, what Matt did with with his cantina, what you did with your cantina, I think that's the real opportunity, right? Like, that's how you make live builds different, is kind of pulling people in, doing like kind of just chitter chatter throughout with kind of known faces and all that. But then, doing it with the live build as well, because that appeals to kind of multiple audiences on there. So yeah, and that I need the space. I don't know about you, but there is just no space behind me right now.
Yeah, that's why the gunship's on the floor, and I have no idea where I'm going to put the AT-AT. I have not figured that out yet.
I think it's Ultimate Collector something, have a brilliant wall mount for the gunship. It's not that expensive either, but it's a proper wall mount that the gunship clips into it. It's kind of on an angle as well, pointing down, so it's almost like it's flying out of the wall. That's pretty cool.
I like that.
Let's answer some questions, because we haven't. We'll finish with some questions, but I'll say the Opie-Verse as the person behind the account, not just an extended TikTok video. Exactly that. It's less about the content as such. It's more about the individual. That's how I always saw it, as kind of bringing people alive a little bit more. I did see this. Did you see this? That kind of very much play AT-AT by Stewbot. It was kicking around on Instagram stories. I'll see if I can find it and send it to you. But yeah, it's quite fun. That it's basically in like blue. It's like a multicolored. It almost looks like it basically looks like Jamie has made it. It looks like one of his, like, through that, but it's where Jamie usually just kind of builds the technic parts. Yeah, this had all the panels and everything on as well. So yes, that was pretty cool. And so, Jamie, I think
there was a video about the AT-AT that people keep talking about. Like, a guy was walking around carrying the AT-AT. Have you seen that?
Walking around carrying it?
Yeah, it was like a YouTube video or like an advertisement for the AT-AT or something like that. And I cannot find it anywhere. I have no idea what everyone's talking about.
I saw SC dudes where he's out on his street and he's put like a dog collar around it, and it's like he's trying to walk down the street. I saw that one. No, I've not seen that one. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So he's a beard one. I thought so. Can you both put your beards on the side of the cam and have a beard high five? This is just going to look like we're kissing. There you go. Beard five.
Beard five. We did a beard five.
Opie's
is a bit thicker than mine right now. It looks like Opie's due for
mine.
Nice trimming.
Yeah, I'm actually booked in for next Saturday. So yes, it is very long overdue. More like, People should be relaxing themselves, not worry about putting on a character. Yeah, but I suppose it depends what type of content you're creating and what your target audience is as well. I do agree, though, definitely in some regards. But that was official layout. I didn't know that. Was it promoting the big UCS one side? But no, Zane, as I see it, long overdue. It has been an absolute honor, a pleasure to speak to you. We will certainly make more of these opportunities going forward. However, we can. If I know I will speak to you kind of in text format before then, but let me just say to you and your family, have an amazing Christmas. It sounds like it's going to be. Elisa, I can see you're in there as well. Hope you all have an amazing Christmas and New Year, and all the best to you in 2022, mate.
Thank you. You too, Opie. You and your family, and the real Opie. Merry Christmas to him.
Yeah, he's not here. He's asleep somewhere. He's probably warming up my side of the bed right now, ready for me, because it's like 11 p.m. nearly. So he'll be being there. But it has been an absolute pleasure, mate. And thank you to everybody who's joined us this evening. It has been a very active and a very positive and interesting chat. So thank you for that. Always appreciate when we're quite noisy. And it's been quite adult this night, tonight as well, the chat. And sometimes it's kind of some of the kids from TikTok come over, which is all cool. Yeah. But I feel like the vibe and the banter has been kind of the level it needs to be. Yeah. As I see it from my perspective, there's nothing planned right now, just because I might be going away next Sunday. So I haven't planned anything. Well, I might be coming down to London, so I don't know yet, but I will be reaching out. And I'm looking at this kind of Lego Christmas Opie-Verse special thing and all that, but maybe we might do some midweek specials, but who knows. But to everyone who's joined us, to you, Zane, have a pleasant rest of your day, evening, and the rest of the week as we head closer to Christmas. Peace, love to all.
Peace and love to everybody.
Peace and